Hi everybody, thank you for being here with us. We are in the amazing ballroom inside Villa Favar, which is the headquarters of Polimoda here in Florence. My name is Beatrice Campani, I'm a fashion journalist, and I'm here with James Ferragamo,
Hello.
Vice Chairman of Salvatore Ferragamo, and Danilo Venturi, Director of Polimoda. We are here because we have something big to announce. It's the launch of a new master program in shoe design created by Polimoda in partnership with Salvatore Ferragamo. So James, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us here, and it's really a great honor to be here as a representative of the Salvatore Ferragamo company.
Okay, the first question is for you. Why Salvatore Ferragamo choose Polimoda for this partnership?
Well, we wanted to find a school that was, first of all, one of the leader, that also had a global view, so it understood the need to be able to have that population that comes from a global perspective, and also that is based in Florence, so that we could also collaborate with the students, with the artisanship. Salvatore Ferragamo, my grandfather, chose Florence as his home. Exactly for that reason, for that artisanship, that ability to really work outside of the traditional approach in shoemaking. And so having this collaboration with this school is really a great honor for us to be able to collaborate in this important master.
That's great. So, hi Danilo, thank you for being here.
Thanks to you.
So, tell us something more about the program.
Well, the program will start in January, and it will be 9 months long, like having a baby, more or less. And you know, this is really what happens every time, because people start without any clue and then they go out as specialists. So it's really like having a baby. And you will have 2 projects there, a midterm and a final, where the midterm is a capsule collection, while the final is a proper collection, valuable as portfolio for the student in the end. Definitely working with Ferragamo means that the program will have specialists coming from the company and a visit for sure. So touching the reality for me is the plus of this course.
Okay. So James, what kind of professional this master will form?
Well, really, we see this master as an amazing collaboration with skilled designers in shoemaking versus a product, and what is the technical aspects of product in shoemaking. So what is the constraints of the last? What are some of the innovation in terms of the use of materials? What are some of the components that can be added or be part of the shoes? And so really that collaboration between the designer, which can think without boundaries, and collaborating with our technicians that can then give that input in terms of what are those knowledge that could be very useful for them in trying to create products for the future.
Okay, so Danilo, with your experience as a school director, how do you recognize a talented shoe designer?
Oh, that's easy and difficult to say, because when you see a talent, you recognize it immediately. And so it's easy and unexplainable somehow. But if we refer to shoe design, I must say that shoe design has some peculiarities, because a designer there is not just drawing or thinking bidimensional on paper, but thinking to shoes means thinking three-dimensional since the beginning. So you have to figure out how the object will be in the end since the beginning of the process. So a person who knows about anatomy and has technical skills and also the vision for creating something that in the end must be a fetish object, then that is a talent.
So Danilo talked about anatomy, and the program includes studies on human anatomy, and we know that Ferragamo has an incredible heritage with iconic shoes where the studies on human anatomy was so important. Is it still like this today?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is really part of the DNA of the Salvatore Ferragamo brand. It's about making products that are also with respect to the customer that is buying them. So the study of the anatomy of the foot is something that has always been important. And my grandfather, Salvatore Ferragamo, took classes in the early 1920s while he was making shoes for the first movies in Hollywood. He was actually studying at the university in Los Angeles of what was the foot made, how many bones are inside the foot, how do you create a shoe that is not just beautiful, but at the same time it respects the anatomy of the foot. And so this is something that has always been very important in ensuring that you have the right product, but at the same time you can also push the boundaries of innovation.
So Danilo, which are the skills for this role?
Well, the skills for this role are technical for sure. So you need to study how to select the leather and to know how the leather is made. So it's not just leather, there are treatments and stuff like this. And also manual, abilities and skills. But I would like to say also something about the vision. The vision is a soft skill. It's hard to be taught. And you know that a pair of shoes is something practical because you hit the ground while you walk. But you have also something spiritual in a pair of shoes, like the way you select the shoes and you smell them, right? And you look at them, and it's something spiritual because I don't know, like think in the past populations when they wanted to give something really great to a guest, they used to wash their feet. So there's something special there, and this is a soft skill that is hardly taught, and we will try to teach also that.
So now I have questions about the future for you both. What's in the future for Ferragamo?
I think the future of Ferragamo is really to be able to search for talented designers, where we believe as Ferragamo have the obligation of teaching them the skills in shoemaking. And so this is an amazing collaboration for the brand, really to be able to pass this collaboration and to pass these skills that the brand has learned and that can be passed also to the young generation. Also, what is important is to be able to find real managerial skills, and as Danilo was mentioning, it's an amazing how many, I would say almost all of your students get placed when they leave the university or the school. So I think what is important is that we can then also be able to be the first one or early view into these young designers and young managerials that could be in the marketing fields, could be in the product fields, that we can get to have an opportunity to collaborate in an early stage. So also our managers that can also work with them. It was very useful.
So Danilo, what is the future of the shoe design
Cool.
for you?
This was more a question for James maybe, but what I think is whenever you have a trend, you also have a counter trend. So now you have the big trend of plastic shoes or gym shoes or these chunk objects, and most probably the counter trend will be go classic, so new classic, and this is possible because we live in an era where trends and counter trends live together. If you look at the outfit of young people, our students from 18 to 28, you see that they match completely different things. Maybe they have a casual wear with classic shoes or the other way around. And so I think, also talking to David Fisher once, he came here from High Snobiety, he was posed a question by a student and said, what is the next pair of shoes? What is the next sneaker for him? And he said, maybe the next sneaker will look like a classic string shoes. So I think this kind of mix of the opposites will be the trend, and the counter trend will be go extreme, like classic.
So the last question for you both is related to trend. How do you feel about the chunky sneakers trend?
I think it's an amazing trend. I think they're quite fashionable, very interesting. I think it's also important to be able to adjust yourself to the times. Times never adjust themselves to you, so you have to be able to be current to what is actually at that moment. And I think it's a real fashion element. It's a way to really emphasize the shoe as a real element of novelty. If you go back 10 years ago, the ballerina were everywhere. Now it's about having a chunky sneaker, and I think it has a more of a three-dimensional element. You have different materials. It is really three-dimensional, specifically the chunky ones.
And Danilo, what do you think about the chunky sneakers trend?
You know already what I think. You see it from my face. Let's say, objectively speaking, it's like James said, it's about the occasions, you know, of use. Like, you can't wear the same pair of shoes every day, all the day, you know, for one season, because you do different things during the seasons, during the day, so it's good to change yourself. And so it's also good to have different opportunities. Branding-wise, it's also an opportunity for different brands to match also when they are opposite, you know, creative designers with classic producers. Personally speaking, and I have to say I'm a bit tired.
But you know what, Danilo, I think it's also an area where innovation is thriving. I mean, we talk about chunky sneakers, and I must admit that I think a lot of the chunky sneakers at the beginning were also heavy in weight. But now technology is bringing those shoes to become also extremely light. So there's a lot of innovation, and I think also what you were mentioning earlier on, it's not going to be about just being sporty. It's going to differentiate itself in a way that it's going to be more, I won't say classic, but I would say something that has that additional innovation to it, which is still to be defined in some ways.
I would love to go on speaking with you about trends, but it's time to say goodbye. So thank you, James, for being here. Thank you, Danilo, for being here. Thank you all for staying with us. And good luck to all the upcoming designers. And see you soon here in Florence, in Polimoda.
Yep.
Thank you.
Ciao.